Over millions of years, our planet has seen the evolution of numerous species. Life, through natural selection, has remarkably adapted to its surroundings. Today, we're diving into the fascinating topic of how animals came into the world. Prepare to be astounded as we explore some of the most unusual birthing methods in the wild. Let's get it on! Pandas are one of the most lovable and entertaining animals in the world. Even though they're so well known, it's still a challenge to protect their species because panda reproduction is complicated and delicate. For starters, a female panda can only get pregnant a few days a year, and it's not guaranteed that she or her mate would be interested in having babies on those days. Another weird thing is how the babies are born. The mother is only pregnant for 3 or 4 months and gives birth prematurely. The baby panda is born weighing only 100 to 200 grams, even though the mother weighs around 130 kilograms. This is the biggest difference in size among all placental mammals. Naturally, these babies need a lot of care and attention. It's not until they're 6 months old that they can move around on their own and try bamboo for the first time. These newborns may look like fetuses, but they're actually a week old. This is because opossums have an incredibly short gestation period of just 25 days maximum. The young are born completely helpless and tiny, weighing only 5 grams. Marsupial offspring, like the ones you see in this video, grow and become strong first in their mother's pouch, and in 2 months, they open their eyes and move to their mother's back, where they continue to grow and learn all the survival skills they need. Eventually, they become voracious animals. On average, a litter consists of about a dozen babies. Even this seagull can't help but be curious about how a seal gives birth, and for good reason. Most seals live in tough conditions in chilly seas. Bringing a seal pup into the world is no easy feat, which is why they have a special period during pregnancy called delayed implantation. This means that the already fertilized egg can pause its development. This is crucial if the mother's body is under stress or if the pregnancy occurs at a time of year unfavorable for breeding. Depending on the circumstances, this waiting period can last up to 3 months. And when the little one is finally born, it's already quite self-sufficient. It's able to follow its mother both on land and in cold waters. Do you know what sets hares and rabbits apart? Unlike hares, baby rabbits come into the world blind and furless. Plus, rabbits are famously recognized for their high reproductive rate. They can have up to 10 litters in a year, thanks to a short pregnancy period of about a month, and their ability to get pregnant right after giving birth. While it's commonly believed that the most rabbits born in one litter is 18, these rabbits are aiming to break that record. Baby rabbits stay in their burrows for 21 days before they venture out to eat in the meadows. In a controlled environment, humans typically take care of baby rabbits, giving the mother a much-needed helping hand. How do snails produce babies? There are a few different ways. Some snails give live birth, while others lay eggs, like in this example. To keep their babies safe, these snails often lay empty capsules that don't have any eggs in them. This tricks predators into thinking there's nothing to eat, so they leave the real eggs alone. But for the eggs to survive, the snail has to lay them in a spot that's the right temperature and humidity. One species that's popular with people who have aquariums is the mystery snail. They're known for laying bright pink egg clutches. As the baby snails grow, the eggs turn darker and almost black. And in the case of the giant African land snail, the eggshell is its first meal after hatching. Here's another example of diversity. While most cockroaches lay eggs protected by a special capsule called ootheca, there are exceptions. Like many other animals on this island, the Madagascar hissing cockroach has evolved differently and became viviparous. It's a bit like a space landing. These insects are quite big, and they can have up to 30 babies at once. There are other interesting things about this species. For example, they don't have wings and can hiss loudly when in danger. The length of the pregnancy depends on the temperature and can last up to 50 days. The babies are born white, but they quickly darken. The naked mole rat, found in Africa, is considered one of the most mysterious animals on the planet, and their reproduction is also unusual. These mole rats live in underground mazes and have a complex social structure, similar to a beehive. In the entire colony, only the queen female has babies. She mates with 2 or 3 regular males and can have hundreds of babies in her lifetime. All other mole rats, even though they can have babies, don't. Instead, they work as laborers or warriors. Here's what a baby kangaroo looks like when it's first born. After a short pregnancy of around 1 month, the baby comes out blind, deaf, and only about 2 centimeters long. Its back legs aren't fully developed yet, but its front legs already have claws and work pretty well. The strange-looking baby uses its front legs to climb into its mom's pouch. The baby kangaroo will then live in the pouch for the next 8 months, drinking its mom's milk and growing quickly. By the way, during their first days, baby kangaroos don't have any fur. Just look at this little one. At 8 months old, kangaroos finally leave their mom's pouch. They look like mini adults at that point. This cheerful little group is a gathering of baby spiders, known as nymphs. These little spiders have just hatched from eggs and usually don't eat at this stage, so they can safely hang out together without the risk of cannibalism, which is common in spiders. This is how spiders lay their eggs in a specially made cocoon. In this case, the cocoon belongs to the famous black widow spider. This cocoon filled with almost grown nymphs belongs to tarantulas. Depending on the species, it can hold 50 to 200 spiders. In the wild, the mother spider protects her young for 6 to 7 weeks, staying close to the cocoon. It's best not to bother her during this time, as she can be very aggressive. This next process isn't about making babies, but about the spider's growth. As spiders grow, they shed their exoskeleton up to 5 or 6 times. As you can see, this process isn't easy, and the spider is very vulnerable during this time. Crocodiles are fierce predators and caring parents. Female crocodiles pick the spot to lay their eggs carefully and make sure it's comfortable. It can be a nest of leaves and soil or a hole on the shore, protected from the rain. Females lay between 10 and 100 eggs, similar to duck eggs. By the way, they're actually different from bird eggs because the development starts much earlier, as the laid eggs already contain embryos. The female guards them from predators until the babies hatch. Interestingly, the temperature of the environment determines the sex of the babies. In some cases, the eggshells are so hard that the baby crocodiles can't break them on their own. They make noises to get their mother's attention. She comes to help and assists the babies in getting out and reaching the water safely. Despite their wild nature, baby crocs are always adorable, making videos of them from nurseries and zoos quite popular. The ostrich is the largest living bird in the world, and its eggs are huge too, weighing up to 2 kilograms. As you can see in this video, they do well when raised in captivity, but raising their babies in the African savanna is a tough job. A group made up of one male and several females work together to incubate and protect their nest, which can include anywhere from 15 to 60 eggs. Sometimes the ostriches leave the eggs during the day to let the sun warm them, but this can put the eggs in danger from predators or hatching failure. On farms, ostriches get help from people, but in the wild, they have to do it all on their own. The shell of an ostrich egg is very hard, about 5 millimeters thick. It takes the ostrich over an hour to pierce the eggs with its beak and then use the back of its head to break the shell. Injuries can happen during this process. Luckily, ostriches grow quickly, and within a few hours of hatching, they're already traveling with their parents to find food. Did you know that lizards don't just lay eggs? Some species are viviparous, meaning they give live birth. For example, the blue-tongued skinks that comprise the Australasian genus Tiliqua. These lizards are very popular all over the world because they have a calm personality, a charming appearance, and don't require a lot of care. Even giving birth is simple for them. Depending on the species, a female blue-tongued skink can give birth to between 1 and 20 babies. As you can see in this video, the babies are born pretty big and fully formed. It only takes them a couple of days to get used to the world and become independent. Axolotls are surprisingly cute creatures. People sometimes call them little dragons, and because of their wide mouths, they always seem to be smiling. They've been popular pets for a long time now.
So they're really hungry, and I'm keeping these guys, but they're really hungry, so...
What's really interesting is that axolotls aren't a separate species. They're actually larvae, a temporary form of some amphibian species, most often the Ambystoma mexicanum. It's kind of like a tadpole in the frog world. But the axolotl isn't your average larva. It can live in this form its whole life and even reproduce. The reason for this is that the hormone responsible for changing into an adult isn't released without a sudden change in the environment, so the larva form can become permanent. As you can see, even in the egg, the axolotl looks almost the same as it does when it's fully grown. You might have heard that sharks are born alive, but that's not always true. Actually, about 1/3 of shark species are born in eggs, and those eggs are pretty strange. For example, brown-banded bamboo shark eggs look like plastic wrap. Sometimes, people have to help baby sharks break out of their eggshells. The shell is really thick, and it can take up to 5 months for the baby shark to develop inside of it. The shapes of shark eggs can be really cool. Check out these spiral or anchor-shaped eggs. They look like they were made by humans, but they actually serve a purpose. These shapes help protect baby sharks from predators and strong underwater currents. The corn snake is a top pick for people who breed snakes at home. They're not venomous, come in lots of pretty colors, and do well when bred in captivity. These snakes lay a lot of eggs. A female usually lays 12 to 24 eggs with soft shells. After about 10 weeks, the baby snakes use their egg tooth to break out of their shells. When they hatch, the snakes are around 13 centimeters long and have the same bright colors as the adults. In this video, you're seeing the eggs of a bigger predator, a python. Different pythons, like the royal python, are also popular as pets. In the wild, female pythons don't leave their eggs. They protect them and keep them warm by flexing their muscles. In captivity, you can use lamps to create the right conditions. By the way, when baby pythons hatch from their eggs, they're already around 60 centimeters long. In the animal world, having babies is the most important thing. But if you're a little fish in a big, dangerous ocean, how do you keep your babies safe? One species of fish from the Caribbean, the yellowhead jawfish, has a clever solution. After the eggs are fertilized, the dad puts them in his big mouth and keeps them there until the babies hatch. In this video, you can see how the dad lets the eggs out into the water every now and then to get them some oxygen. The yellowhead jawfish also has another interesting habit. He's a total homebody and hardly ever leaves his burrow, which he spends hours taking care of. These fish dads might just be the most responsible parents in the whole ocean. Elephants are incredibly smart animals with a complicated social structure. Their groups are usually very tight-knit and led by an older female elephant. Because of this, having a baby becomes a family event where everyone wants to help. Usually, the elephant will go off to have her baby with a friend, but sometimes the whole group will be there, like in these images. Look at these huge animals getting excited for the new baby. An elephant's pregnancy is very long, lasting 20 to 22 months, but when the baby elephant is born, it's already well developed and weighs around 100 kilograms. Just half an hour after being born, the baby can stand up and follow its mother. A baby elephant needs care until it's 4 years old. Adult elephants never leave it alone, and it's taken care of not just by its mother, but by its whole family. Seahorses are truly one of the ocean's oddest fish. In fact, they don't even look much like fish, do they? They're not great swimmers either due to their lack of fins, and the absence of a stomach means they eat almost constantly. But what's even more peculiar is their method of reproduction. Interestingly, it's the males who carry the young. They have a special pouch called a brood pouch where the female deposits her eggs. Inside this pouch, the embryos grow in a nourishing environment. When the time is right, the male releases the fully developed offspring into the water. Remarkably, this process bears a striking resemblance to the birth of a mammal. Rays are incredibly old fish, closely related to sharks. There are nearly 500 ray species, and most of them reproduce through a fascinating process called ovoviviparity. The eggs are fertilized internally and develop inside the mother's uterus. The young hatch from the eggs within the uterus, first consuming their yolk sac and then being nourished by a special secretion called histotrope, which is similar to a placenta. And after the gestation period comes the birth, which we're witnessing right now. The newborns emerge from the uterus tail first. Interestingly, some species are born rolled up, like a cigar. Thanks to this method, rays don't have to worry about eggs, and their offspring are born fully developed and ready to thrive in the ocean. Look how delighted they seem.
Trying to get out. It just.
Did you know that sea turtles only lay their eggs where they themselves were born? Sometimes, the females have to travel great distances to reach their home beach. They check the area for dangers, and if everything looks safe, they dig a special flask-shaped hole to lay their eggs. This is usually the last time turtles care for their young, although there have been instances where adult turtles help hatchlings out of the hole. And sometimes, humans help too, just like this man is doing. Scientists have also discovered something fascinating. If the eggs in the hole flip over, the little turtle won't know which way to dig after hatching and won't be able to reach the surface. Fortunately, these little ones haven't had any issues finding their way. By the way, some turtle species can lay up to 200 eggs at once. It seems like there won't be enough space on this beach. Crab reproduction is seasonal in its nature and may be tied to the rainy season or the year's highest tides. Typically, after the male crab's ritual fight, one of them gets the female and they mate for several days. Then the female carries the fertilized eggs on her abdominal legs where the larvae develop. Once the larvae are ready, the female crab releases them into the ocean. Or, in this case, an aquarium. As you might have guessed, crabs are incredibly prolific, with the number of eggs ranging from tens of thousands to millions. This is why sometimes we see large invasions of these small crustaceans on beaches. You might have noticed that it's not just mammals that take good care of their babies. But what about those scary scorpions? Many scorpions, like the one in this video, are viviparous. The babies develop inside the mother's body for a long time, about a year before they're born. In this case, 6 scorpions were born, but there can be many more. They don't look like adults yet because they don't have hard shells and their legs have suction cups instead of claws. They need these suction cups to climb onto their mother and hold onto her. After all, they'll spend the first part of their life under her protection until they shed their skin and become strong enough to defend themselves and start hunting. There are hundreds of types of shrimp in the world's oceans, and thousands of tons of shrimp are caught every year. It's their strong reproductive system that has helped this crustacean spread so widely. Shrimp reproduction has several stages. First, the female keeps the eggs in a saddle near her back, which is brightly colored because you can see the eggs through the shell. Next, the female sheds her shell, and the male fertilizes the eggs. The female then keeps the eggs under her belly, where they stick to her swimming legs. In this video, you can see how she frequently moves her legs to give the hatchlings enough air. Once the gestation period ends, the female releases the tiny shrimp, which are only a couple of millimeters long, to start their active lives right away. Check out this little chameleon taking its first steps. It's amazing how such a tiny creature can look and move just like its adult counterparts. This video shows the birth of baby panther chameleons, a large species native to Madagascar. Like most chameleons, they lay eggs. The female digs a hole in the ground and lays between 12 to 46 eggs. Chameleons are known for their calm and slow-moving nature, and the babies are no different. The incubation period can last up to 10 months, so if you're thinking of breeding these lizards in captivity, you'll need to be patient. It's worth noting that more and more people are becoming chameleon enthusiasts, as they can be domesticated. Aphids are tiny bugs that eat the juices of plants. They can be found almost everywhere on Earth and come in many different types, with around 5,000 species. Some of them are even viviparous. It's fascinating to watch this nearly microscopic process up close. As you can see, a baby aphid looks just like a mini version of an adult. You might think they're being cloned. There's also an aspect of aphid reproduction that science doesn't fully understand yet. These insects sense the conditions in their environment and can somehow decide whether the next generation will be born with wings or without them. Dolphins are truly unique animals, not only because of their high intelligence and friendly nature, but also because of the way their offspring are born. Unlike most mammals, dolphins are born tail first to reduce the risk of drowning. Depending on the species, a dolphin's pregnancy can last anywhere from 10 to 18 months and typically results in the birth of a single baby. Dolphins rarely have more than one offspring at a time. These animals are also known for being affectionate and attentive parents. Mothers nurse their young for 2 to 3 years and stay with them until they've taught them all the necessary skills for surviving in the tough ocean environment, how to get food, how to steer clear of danger, and even how to communicate with their kin. As you can see, they're a lot like us humans. Incredible. Most types of flies, like the common housefly, lay eggs that turn into larvae, then pupate, and finally, adult insects. Unlike the fly in this video, they're usually picky about where they lay their eggs. For instance, the cherry fruit fly likes ripe fruit. But there's one kind of fly that's an unexpected exception. It's the tsetse fly from equatorial Africa, a tough insect that eats the blood of other animals. The tsetse fly is viviparous, meaning the female carries and feeds a single larva in her body for 1 to 2 weeks. The larva's then born, almost as big as the fly itself. The larva's ready to pupate and quickly burrows into the ground. Tsetse flies can give birth up to 10 larvae in their lifetime. This could be the weirdest toad on the planet. It's the Suriname toad, and it can be found in the rivers of South America. It has a flat body, a small triangular head with little eyes, and strong hind legs with big membranes. But what makes it so well known isn't its strange appearance, but the one-of-a-kind way of reproducing. After the eggs are laid by the female and fertilized by the male in the water, the female dives deeper, and the eggs stick to her back, spreading out in cells all over her skin. A single clutch can have 20 to 50 eggs. The eggs slowly grow a layer of skin on the female's back, giving them extra protection. This is where the baby toads develop and spend around 10 weeks on their mother's back before leaving her fully grown and ready to explore the jungle.